Welcome to episode 7 of the Product Podcast, Everything Products with Ehizode. On this podcast, we share the stories of product managers of products, one product manager at a time. And today I have the stunning model slash Agbani Darigo slash products manager here with me, Joke. Joke is the product manager at Fanbants. Sorry, the product lead rather. I have to be very specific. I have to be very specific. You know, when you grow from product manager to being product leader, there's a level to this thing, so you have to articulate it very well. So yeah, Joke is the product lead at Fanbants. She's going to tell us what Fanbants does, but it's very, very notable for me to point this out that this is the first time I'm bringing a product manager in the entertainment industry. So I'm really looking forward to the convo. I want to know what product management actually feels like when it's not in a very serious industry, right? I feel like entertainment, you should enjoy yourself and all of that. But yeah, okay, how you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Happy to be here.
Yeah, happy to have you, finally. Right. So just tell us a little bit about yourself and what you guys do at Fanbants.
Thank you. Goodness, I'm happy to be here. Amazing work you're doing here.
Thank you.
So my name is Joke Akintara. I currently lead product at Fanbants. Fanbants is the ultimate fan destinations for Africans. So we have 2 main products right now. One for football fans. And I know that people that are familiar with EPL will understand what I'm saying. So we provide fantasy football experiences. Later in the future, we're looking to go into other sports, but right now it's just football. We also offer local leagues like Super 8, those that are familiar with local leagues. So everything football, you can check us at fanbants.com. We also have an interesting one which we just pivoted more this year for reality. So we're literally the first doing this, right? So if you watch like Big Brother, The Voice Nigeria, Real Housewives of Lagos, you can participate in the thrill, in the competition, in the vibe, in the community by joining the Fanbants community at reality, and then just playing as well, competing for bragging rights. You can also earn cool prices when you play your Fanbants. So that's typically what we're building.
Amazing. So I'm going to ask you a question about what you do at Fanbants, but I want to get to just tell us a little bit more about yourself, your background, and how you got into tech, maybe.
Amazing. Okay, so I've been working for about 7 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Product management.
No, in different capacities.
Okay. No.
In different capacities. So right out of school, so I studied business administration in school. I went to Babcock University, and I got into eTransact, so straight into fintech. eTransact is a super fintech, if you know the company. So it's a switching company. Right there, they didn't treat us newbies as newbies, right? They gave us like business development hats, and then you had to like work with major banks to bring out products. And after a year after that, I was working with the 4 telcos. So I was building out solutions for Airtel 444, Glow, 9 Mobile. It was a rigorous
very rich experience.
It was really rich. It was really rich, and I got a plethora of really, really wonderful mentors that have been there for like decades in the space. They had a really robust product team. So while I was there, I was already volunteering for the products team. The group lead for products, Bumi Wellington, became a mentor to me. I started volunteering for one of her products called Credo. And during that volunteering experience, she called me one day and said, Joke, I want you to be the good product manager for this product. And I'm like, Ma, excuse me. But she was like, yeah, she was so bad that you have the skill. You just don't know you have it because you haven't tagged as something, but I've been monitoring you. I can see what you do, and you are going to be my good product person. I mean, like, that responsibility made me mature really quickly. So you see me, like, I was still working my regular job. So in the night, I would moonlight on that role. And after a while, I pivoted fully. We ended up building Africa's first social payment platform. Last year, we got 2 awards from Bafi for Social Payment App of the Year, and Payment Innovation Company of the Year. So yeah, it's still running. It was I spent like 3 years in Credo before moving to EdTech. Now, my reason for moving to EdTech, people are like, why would you leave FinTech? Like, you're doing so well. Like, it was really surprising for a lot of people. Especially because my role in Credo was very upfront. I was doing a lot of things for them in Credo, exhibitions here and there. I was the face for Credo in a lot of capacities. But I needed the challenge to move. I also wanted to gain more experience in other verticals. I wanted to also stretch myself and see the limit of what I can do. So I'm here experimenting with my life. But so far it's been great. I have a wonderful team. My boss is Harvard trained, and we're currently in Techstars 2023, Minnesota. So there's a lot to do, and I'm just here for it.
Amazing. I'm really, really happy for you. Seems like you're enjoying the experience.
Try my best.
So what does it feel like to work at an entertainment tech or an EdTech, right? Like, does it feel like work?
Definitely.
Describe the experience.
Definitely. It's all the same things. You're building a product. It's supposed to still like grow emotions in people. Your product is supposed to communicate value. So even if you're building something for is a rocket ship going into space, or you're building something to make people laugh, it must feel easy breezy, right? The moment it feels stressful, that something is wrong. And one thing that people do not really understand is to make things really simple, you have to break it down from something that could be really hard, right? So we're here studying the markets, we're here pivoting, and you have to also understand that we're doing this thing first. The other thing about entertainment, especially the way we're doing it, is when it comes to sports in Nigerian entertainment, people's minds immediately go to betting. So we also have to change the narrative. So we're doing a lot of content marketing as well, content control, quality control, studying the market, building hedges for compatibility so that, defensibility, so that a competition doesn't come up tomorrow and just like out of the market. There's also a lot of iterations. We're doing a lot of A and Bs. Our sprints are run weekly so that we can implement fast, learn fast, and then pivot fast. So it's a fast-paced environment.
Faster than FinTech.
The thing with FinTech though is that when it comes to money, people don't play. I think that's the major difference. You can't really sleep with your two eyes closed when you're in FinTech, because if someone doesn't get their money and it doesn't get value immediately, it can pose a lot of challenges. So I think that's the one that I'm at least happy that it isn't really there. But that discipline has made me, alert to when things are not right. I want to see them solved immediately because I have that experience of always being on my toes and being on my feet.
Yeah. I think we're already getting to the question I was going to ask, which is how is your role currently at the EdTech, right? How's that different from your previous role? Your role as a product manager, how's that different from being a product manager in the FinTech or other spaces that you've worked in?
So I think it's kind of like the same plus Jara. And I'm saying that because my role in FinTech I wasn't like a core product manager. I was doing growth. I was a growth product manager. So I was literally...
When you say growth product manager, what were the specifics?
So my job is to make sure that the funnel is optimized. The growth funnel of my awareness, acquisitions, activation, revenue retention. Yeah, I had to make sure that with every stage of that, we are in blocks and people are getting value, right? So that's fun because you get to do the awareness stuff, how to get the leads into the buckets, relationship management, content marketing, email marketing. When it gets into it, you have to really monitor that journey, right? You're using tools all the time. You're experimenting a lot. You're working with everybody in the team. You're working with social media. You're working with marketing. You're working with tech. You're working with your data people also to just cultivate that process. You're talking to users as well. When it comes to
Did you directly influence product features?
I had to a lot, and they relied on me a lot as well because I'm kind of like the intermediary between the internal and the external. The growth role is kind of new in Nigeria. A lot of people expect their product people to do that. So people would find a growth person, they find a product person, they find a growth marketer, and then they expect those people to split the growth role.
Yes, actually.
But a lot of people are now seeing that this is a unique discipline on its own. So what I'm doing in Fanbants now is, because of my understanding of growth, I kind of have to like pull all those stuff in, those experiences in, because it's very crucial. You can't grow a product, or you can't expect your product to be successful if you do not impute the growth elements and just want, okay, does the core things of like writing stuff and just seeing stuff through, I really believe that for a product to be user-centric, you need someone that can see them for who they are and build for them, not someone that is just doing what the internal stakeholder works. People call it orga-centric. Orga-centric product management. So that good element brings things into perspective, because now I have data, right? And I can back up that data with also understanding how my product works.
So what specific challenges do you think that as a product manager in the tech space you face that are specific to the entertainment industry?
Okay, so number one is understanding the users.
I mean, that's everywhere though.
Yes, it's everywhere. But the reason why it's more deliberate for me right now is many people think they know what they want. So when it comes to understanding the users, it's one thing to take the user's word verbatim, and it's another thing to be able to look at your products and know how you want those users to interact with your products. So with what I was talking about, for example, with entertainment in Nigeria when it comes to sports and fantasy, people think it's betting. We have a different license from a betting license, right? When you go to other mature industries like in the Western states, they understand fantasy. They understand how it's different from like casino stuff, and they understand how it's different from like.
Explain it. Sorry, I don't think I understand.
Okay, so when people play football on Fanbants, it's a game of skill. So it's not a game of luck. That's the major differentiator.
Okay.
So
it's like you're playing a game in virtual reality or something.
Yes. So you're selecting a team of players, and you can't select that team. You can't win on that team except you know those players. So I put Messi in because I know that Messi can deliver like this.
Okay, he's a defender. His left foot is better.
You have to know all those things. And you're selecting 11 players with that mindset. But you can't just select random 11 players, because another person too can. Everybody can select 11 players that are the best and be top of the leaderboard, right? But now you have salary, so you're like a coach. So now I have to now make like opportunity cost and say, okay, I won't choose Messi, even though Messi is good, because Messi is too expensive. Or I'd rather choose 3 other mid guys that can like make me win better. So it takes about 25 minutes to select your team when fans are fan for you. Yeah. So you kind of have earned that bragging rights, right? So it's different from someone that just says, oh, give me that bid. That's betting. When it becomes a game of skill, it changes the odds. It changes the dynamic, right? The other thing that we're working on is community building, right? We want people to be able to interact with each other. When it comes to fan groups, community is a very, very major thing. They need bragging rights. They need to be able to say, I know this thing, I know before mouth. Okay, I sabi football. Okay, go and prove it. Okay, on Fanbants, I did this, right? The other thing that we're doing with our products is the lifestyle bits, right? Apart from you integrating football or reality TV into your life, it's also you extending that stuff into your personal life. So now you're inviting me into your home, right? I have to match your bits, right? Which is where like the typical stuff a product manager is coming for, like understanding who your personas are. Everybody's not my audience, right? I want to speak directly to a particular set of people, and I want them to understand that I understand them. I know their pain, and I want to solve those things for them. So that's exactly what we're building now. In the future, we see pivoting more into more things. I'm not sure if I can reveal everything now, but like for an insight, for example, think of like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, The Voice Nigeria. Imagine like going into partnerships and all those angles, or letting people being able to come in and play those like trivia games and stuff like that. So we're seeing it beyond just like what people think about, okay, you're just on the phone, you're doing something and you're leaving. We're seeing it as an ecosystem that can grow into something bigger in the future.
Amazing. Sounds like you're doing amazing and interesting work actually. But there's something where you're being a product manager, and there's something where you're doing product manager in an industry that you actually enjoy, something that you can actually relate to as well. So it's quite interesting. So yeah, I know that you talked about you getting into tech, you getting into product management, and your story kind of seemed linear, right? Which I know that it's not certainly the case, right? Yeah, inside of all of those stories, there might have been failures, there might have been times where you cried ugly tears. Yeah, so what were the challenges that you faced, right? Just getting into the tech industry per se, get in your first few months or first few years as a product manager, and how were you able to allay those challenges?
Okay, yeah, good question. I think one major challenge when people face, and which I face too as a product manager, is knowing where your own strength lies. I think we're talking about it. People expect product managers to be like the genie that knows everything. They want you to understand marketing perfectly. They want you to do the go-to-market. They want you to be like the KPMG guy because you can afford a consultant.
Yeah.
They want you to understand how to code to an extent so you don't disturb the dev guys too much. They want you to understand data to an extent so you don't disturb the analysts too much. Many of them, if you're working in a startup, they might not even get a data analyst. So they expect you to know so much and everything. And if you're someone that doesn't have a lot of vision, you end up jumping from one place to another, right? And each time you move to a new place, you feel lost because you don't know exactly what is in the mind of the people who have employed you. But one thing I learned really quickly, especially from like shadowing people and researching, is that people just want you to deliver value, right? So apart from just doing like what is on the JD, I try to look for where the pain hurts, and I try to
For that particular company
in that particular season, right? Because as a product person, you're a problem solver. So yeah, you're doing all your documentations. Yes, you're following up on people. If you follow up on people and you're not their friend, you don't look at you as a pest and they will ignore you. They'll ignore the life out of you, right? So you have to also be like this nice person. You have to have like, but apart from all that, I see when you deliver value, even if you're like a pain in the ass, people will listen to you. People will do your stuff. If the founder, the manager, the key decision maker sees you as a non-negotiable asset, even if it means bringing food in when everybody's hungry, I'm serious. It can be something as trivial as that, but you see a particular pain point. Maybe they find it difficult getting some kinds of partnerships, and you make those things happen, right? It opens a lot of doors for you. That's one. The second thing is, as a product person, you have to have your strong points. You're strong. So like we said earlier, the product management means different things to different people in different places, right? But when I know my strength, so for example, I know I'm a very good communicator. I know how to communicate very well. I wouldn't go to a place where they're expecting me to be a technical person per se, even if I can do tech stuff, because that's not where I shine. I want to go to a place where when I deliver my core value, you see it immediately, right? And then I can take my time to learn other things. Like I said when we first started, that I'm currently taking courses on data. When I now show that I have those skills, you're surprised. You're like, oh, this girl has tricks up her sleeve. But it's not like I get to a place, I'm clumsy, I'm like 5% here, 10% there, and scattered all over the place. So I learned that and it really, really helped me. I got my foot in, understanding strategy really well, understanding relationship management, and understanding growth product management. Yeah.
So like you already mentioned something I was going to mention. We talked about just before we started this podcast, we were already talking about how what people really want from you is delivering value, not necessarily doing product management the textbook way. So how have you like reflected that in your own journey, like just basically delivering value without necessarily doing all of the the things you do in your capstone project when you're in a product school and you write lots of documentation? How does that like reflected in your own personal journey?
It's literally an industry secret that people need to understand. And I think what made it work for me is just being open and willing to learn and not being the person that wants to always show up all the time. One critical
what do you mean by that? Can you go over that again?
So I think when people get into a new place, they want to show off and show themselves. And one thing I don't really do is listen. When you listen, you pick out things, right? Imagine this CEO that I'm doing so many things, but my shoe literally hurts. I can't stand because that shoe, there's something, the shoe doesn't fit. If someone would just give me the right shoes that feel it in, like that fits properly, I wouldn't forget that person. You've bought real estate in my head, right? So listening. I know they teach product managers listening a lot for like external stakeholders, but for your internal people, because those are the people that you need to get stuff done for you, right? When you're someone that truly listens, you pick things, you hear things in meetings. they create action items after each meeting, but they're the unspoken things, you know. Maybe for example, you realize that okay, they put out all these action items, but what is really missing in this team is operational inefficiencies. You know, everybody's talking, nobody's really picking up things. So you don't say, okay, everyone, okay, I worked on this dashboard that kind of shows us how each person relates to each other, you know, or I created this escalation path matrix so that everybody doesn't just call the CTO when they like. So if you have issue 1, speak to the service rep. If you have issue 2, speak to a junior manager. If you have issue 3, the junior manager will now connect to the CTO. You solve a problem that nobody stated as an actual problem that may not even be part of your regular JD, but now people look at you as someone that solves things. So a good example is Big Brother is like the biggest reality TV show in Nigeria right now.
Yeah.
So during the Big Brother season, that was like our major season. That's like a Super Bowl, like the EPL season finals for
Yeah.
So I had an idea of how I wanted marketing to go, you know, but that wasn't translating for me. And people started getting frustrated because it wasn't translating. I said, yo, guys, it's not about talking anymore. It's about doing. I started looking for influencers myself. I got influencers myself. I created a marketing campaign myself. I wrote video briefs myself.
How did your marketing team feel about that though?
I told them, please use me. Yeah, I said, please, I'm joining your team. Use me anyhow you want me to, because we have a common goal. We're not enemies. So I think when you see yourself as a problem solver more than just a note taker, a driver more than just a passenger, right? When you see yourself as a mini CEO, as a mini founder, you take it personal. The people that are building that product have identified you as an ally, as a partner, you know. When it comes to them, like now, like looking for leaders or people that can actually actualize something, you will come up naturally.
I wanted you to like emphasize on that point where you were saying that I'm talking about like results and not basically trying to do things the way you think they should be done. Tailoring your processes, tailoring your activities, tailoring your scope to basically suit specifically the needs of your role, of your product management role in that company, right? Not necessarily being a product manager and doing their foundations, basically. There are things that you must do as a product manager, but you have to specifically suit or tailor your role to fit the needs of that company. And it doesn't have to be exactly what's stated in your job JD.
No. That's what differentiates leaders from non-leaders, right? When they say someone is a senior or a chief executive of something, right, it doesn't mean that you do not have the primary things. Everything outside the primary, when you start becoming like a senior person, everything becomes more like relationship-based. I don't know if you've noticed.
Yeah.
So it's not like you can't do user stories. It's not like you can't manage your Jira. It's not like you can't go to Clarity or open, all those tools, all those cool tools. Yeah. But now people expect you to move things. And the thing about the thing people don't understand about processes is that people drive operations, people drive processes, right? And when you can solve the people problem, every other thing goes fine, right?
Sure.
Think of partnerships, people, getting funding, people, hiring, people, getting your day-to-day work done is literally people, right? So for example, I have problems with people that say they don't like their office, their nepotism is too much, bureaucracy is too much, what do you call that thing? I can't remember the name.
Politics.
Office politics. I'm like, if you like, don't feel like it's not about office politics, it's about people management. You're working with real human beings that have real feelings, real needs, real priorities. So I have my to-do, you have your to-do. Why should I prioritize you over me, right? You have your roadmap. Why should I buy into your vision, right? So I have to, if you think I'm wrong, but I have to like you to do your work.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's like in an interview. I've interviewed a lot of people, right, over my career. And at the end of the day, we see people that do good work, and people sometimes just like, we don't really like him. I'm serious. Or you have this product roadmap, but when you talk, you're not believable. So people think maybe you're not sure of what you're saying, and then they don't buy into it. So they don't do your work, right? Or you are sounding like you're like a sounding gong, right? So everything has to do with relationship management. It's not even just about maybe like just making people do what you want, but also making them see the value in what you're doing and respecting you for the role that you carry. The worst thing that can happen to you is being a product person that nobody respects.
Exactly. I feel like it depends on how you tell the story, how you inspire people, how you motivate people, how you motivate your team, right? And as a leader, that's how you move from being just a regular product manager who does like the average up to being a people person.
Being a people person.
Because it's very, very, very important. So what are the key things that have helped you grow in your product management career overall?
Okay, so number one, the thing about tech industry is it's very network based, right? It's network based because a lot of cool things are happening out there. A lot of people are doing a lot of wonderful things. So you can't be an island and succeed in this industry. You have to go out of your comfort zone. So when people go for conferences, meetups, and things like that, it's not just to sit down and warm the bench and take notes. You know, you want to meet people and see what they're doing. You want to study companies. When you, as a product person, you have to be someone with very, very high. You have to have like a sixth sense, right, for innovation, especially if you want to work in like in a startup atmosphere, right? So that has really helped me studying people. Number two is not being comfortable in one place. I wrote an article yesterday night. I published it on my LinkedIn this morning about audacity, being audacious, right? I said it before about PMs being mini CEOs because you're expected literally to carry the vision and run with it, which is literally what CEOs typically do. Right? So for a product person, you have to like keep your eyes out there for what's new and what's next. Not because you don't want to be caught on fresh, but because you literally need it to survive. You need it to breathe. Because if you're not absolutely in love with what you're doing, or at least trying to pursue it actively, it can get overwhelming and you can really feel overwhelmed. I also try to listen to podcasts. The reason why I do podcasts is it's not really because it's cool. It's because when I'm using my eyes at work, I need to use my ears. Yeah. So there's some really cool ones. I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
Here as well. So there's Product School. They have so many lovely resources. Lenny's podcast, Product Thinking podcast. So sometimes they interview like CPOs, CEOs, how they've broken through things, and you might be going through something that you think is really strange, and you're like, oh, so it's not even it's not just me. So it's yeah. So things like that. I think another thing is skill building. Nothing makes you confident as a product person as someone that knows what they're doing and knows that they know.
True.
It's one thing to know, it's another thing to know that you know.
That's a high level of confidence, though.
Yeah. So you walk into a room, somebody tells you something that tries to undermine what you've done, and then you can be like, yo, and you can go all out on it because you understand what you're saying. The other thing for me personally is when you're a woman in tech, it changes the game a bit. Yeah. It changes the game a bit because when you're a woman, you have to show that you understand what you're doing beyond just like the emotions that people tag with women with, So understanding that I'm owning the room, having that power to, I know what I'm doing, but I'm also confident in what I'm doing, and I have a vision. I want to raise this product. Sorry, last thing is I feel like anywhere I am, I'm not a product manager, just a product manager that works here. I'm first of all a product person, right? So I have a brand integrity to maintain. So I'm building this brand not just because of my pay or what they're doing for me. I'm building it because people are going to see me and say, that is Jackie's products. Is that something I want to be associated with?
True.
So I'm very conscious of that as well. And it really helps me to, build myself up and keep on my toes. Yeah.
Amazing things that you shared. I think all of these that you shared so far has been amazing. So is there anything that you want to share with like new budding PMs that you think is a great advice that will help them build and scale their career in product management?
Awesome. I think I'll look here. Yeah. So if you're new in product management or you're new in tech, I know you might be taking some courses. If you're not taking courses, please do. They're an amazing way to start. And now there's so many free and amazing ones right now. There's Women Tech Stars. There's tech in heels.
There's an overlap.
There's an overlap. For goodness has an awesome community as well for budding product managers. So please plug yourself somewhere. But apart from doing like the regular stuff, for just like the foundational stuff, get your hands dirty as much as possible.
Very important.
Whether it's that you're volunteering or building something yourself, get your hands dirty. And don't be the person that is going up and down looking for one big mentor to come and hold your hand and, get your things done yourself. Make a list of everything you need to build. And, if it has to do with you shadowing people or, following their stories or watching YouTube or building your product sense, make sure you're not just the person sitting in one place, waiting for everything to come to you on a platter of gold. And I'm very sure that you're going to do really well and amazing things.
Thank you so much, okay? That was such inspired. I felt like you were talking to me directly. So thank you so much. That is the end of this episode 7 with Joke. It was such an amazing session. If you've not listened to the previous session, make sure you go and listen to it, and make sure you tune in for the next episode of this podcast. All right, bye.
Bye.